opportune segments or the next basket of opportunities for entrepreneurs. So we have spoken of fluorination, we have spoken of fermentation, we have spoken of green synthesis. Uh, I would invite Dr. Dua or even Amit, and of course Mr. Majmudar can join, and then we can take views of Goda Saab and Mr. Jain also, in terms of what are those key areas which entrepreneur must look for. Is it the driving factor should be the import substitution theme, where let's say we are not currently producing and one should look at those products as future areas of growth? Or is it let's say the process efficiency through enzymes, through biocatalysis and some such processes? So what are those key areas which you feel that an entrepreneur must keep in mind for next level of growth?
Can I take off earlier?
Please.
First. There are two. One is of course, as you said, the chemistry part, like flow chemistry is there, and the enzyme chemistry, etc., which will help a great deal. I just want to give a little more information. Yesterday also we had a webinar with Niti Aayog chair, member Dr. Saraswat, where IICT head Dr. Chandrasekhar was present. And now what is needed is most of the intermediates, as Dr. Dua and Sudarshan and Wadaji also will say, MSMEs are the ones who manufacture most of the KSMs and intermediates in the country. And they don't have this 100 and 200, 300 R&D scientists at their end. So the chemistry, what you say, the technology, there should be a partnership with the CSIR laboratories. And in that, Dr. Chandrasekhar and the group have done a very good, in IDMA, we had called them about a year back. And they have given a very good offer that they will, any product, any intermediate we want to take up, they will do the R&D for us. We just need to pay for the price of the chemicals. They will not charge for man hours or scientist hours at all. And that's a very good opportunity people should take up. And yesterday, Dr. Chandrasekhar again said that we are ready with almost this 41, if you look at it, the PLI, whatever they were first identified. We are ready with the chemistry of most of the intermediates. And right up to, even Reliance was there, so right up to going up to solvents and petrochemical, we go back to that and we can give the support to that. So what I suggest is there should be more interaction and we should work out how we make use of those CSIR laboratories. Then there are, of course, big companies like IPCA, Nectar and all who can on their own also introduce. But as I said, the major it come from MSMEs and they need this support. And these newer technologies, they are all IICTs are fairly, and flow chemistry also in Pune, NCL is very much ahead. Enzyme is also done by the North, they have got many biotechnological government institute. That's the point.
Sure.
Yeah, Yogin Bhai, I would 100% support what you said just now. Yeah. And first of all, before I go any further, I received a WhatsApp from my friend, philosopher and guide, Mr. Sikri, who's the BDMA vice president as well, that BDMA has a membership of 400 and not 200. So I stand corrected there. Going on to what Yogin Bhai said is very interesting. You see, I've always been maintaining, and I've proven it through an initiative called CRIC, Chandigarh Regional Innovation Knowledge Cluster, which was spearheaded in the Tri-City of Mohali, Panchkula, and Chandigarh by no less a person than Dr. Arun Grover, who's the immediate ex-vice chancellor of Punjab University, an amazing university. Now, what they did was they combined 26 institutions together, Godaji, out of which, and they are global institute, Indian School of Business, Punjab Engineering College, Punjab University, and IISc and IMTech, which has the largest repository of bacteria and viruses in the world. Now, with that, they invited industry to come forward and take up the projects, whatever are relevant. Niper is also a part of that. Sir, today I have 10 projects running with Niper Mohali where they and us are working on milestones that look, you do this, you get this, you do this, you get this. But unfortunately, Yogen Bhai, all of these scientists, as per my experience, particularly at the center and various state levels, they come, they speak a lot in front of the government. I'm sorry to say that, in front of the government functionaries, ministers and the secretaries and all. But when they go back, there is no initiative. So I've been hammering on our government, central government, to institutionalize a mechanism where they put incentive on the universities and institutions that, look, you are dependent on government to the extent of 100% today, bring it down to 50%. And in order to get that 50%, reach out to the industry, get the projects and keep it good. That's the Western model. Universities which flourish with industry make tons of money. They're hugely profitable. Some of these are even listed on the stock exchanges and things like that. If they can do it, why can't we? Our brains are not less than any other country, believe you me. Godaji, I've been to so many innovator companies, sir, in Wockhardt and Zydus Cadila, as well as in Nectar, where I see, sir, more than 50 to 60% of the requisite personnel, even at the junior most and the senior most level, are Indians. R&D, quality management systems, intellectual property, they're all Indians, predominantly from Gujarat and Telangana and Andhra. So we have the brains. It's just that the institutions have to come out. They have to be impressed upon that, look, you reach out to the industry, do commercial projects with them, get your money, get whatever you have to based on fixed milestone and variable milestone, and then only there'll be a paradigm change. You're dead right, Yogen Bhai. There are huge intellectual property, chlorination.
So I think there's some internet challenge. So meanwhile, I
just need to take it.
Yeah.
We need to take it out of the archives and make sure that this actually translates to reality than living in the glass houses, as I said earlier, of the intellectuals and researchers and what have you.
Sure. One thing and the particular happens in this particular case with Dr. Chandrasekhar, what we have done, there are a number of CSIR laboratories, and if all of them are working on the same molecule, we are wasting the national resources. So what we suggested to CSIR, DG, and then that why didn't you put a point person, like Dr. Chandrasekhar was made into the point that any industry wants any molecule to go to him, he'll then identify which are this particular chemistry is strong with this laboratory of ours, and they'll allocate it to that. So such a good beginning, we had got it done. Unfortunately, in this particular case, what has happened is industry has not taken the lead. Now, where can be such a big, good offer from the CSIR that we will not charge you anything till you decide to buy the technology from us? All that we'll want is only the chemical cost, and which is the R&D purpose, how much chemical cost will be there. I would suggest, and this forum is there, and Dr. Dua and all, we should further advertise this offer of theirs. And this is the right time that the MSME should start taking advantage. If you want to make this 41, or even if, as Godaji says, there are many more which are not included in this 41, which we can make.
There are at least about 300 molecules, Yogen Bhai, which we have identified in Fomexcel and handed over to the ministries. So this is the beginning in my considered opinion. But your point is absolutely right. The industry also has to come forward. It's not only the academia. It has to be a two-way relationship, symbiotic relationship.
I think Amit has also done some study on, future growth drivers. So it will be great to have Amit's, views and some data analysis.
Yeah, thanks, Mahavir. And I just wanted to share a slightly separate point than the particular molecules. And I'll add on to what Goda Saab was mentioning around some of the differentiators. So we had done a survey on customers from lesser regulated markets. And they pointed out 5 things. You may all be aware, but let me just reiterate for everybody's benefit. They said price and continuity of supply are the 2 biggest criteria. And continuity of supply is gaining more and more importance. So for entrepreneurs who are looking at this and to be successful, I think they have to keep that in mind. While quality, regulatory support, and technical ability are the other 3 criteria. Please understand, see, what is happening today is when we look at what the international companies, whether they are distributors or manufacturers, are looking at us, they are rating us higher on regulatory support. And what I mean by regulatory support compared to China is documentation, issue resolution, etc. Because China is now focusing on much larger customers and at the cost of servicing smaller customers in lesser regulated markets. So that space is also opening up as an opportunity if we can provide that service level. So that is one piece. I think the other piece is, it is a widely accepted fact that Indian players are good in developing cost-efficient processes compared to Chinese. I think the China cost competitiveness also comes from the government support and not just the process skill. So I think, you know, the entire mindset that China is cheaper and more efficient on every angle is not entirely true. I think the perception also is that Indian manufacturers do have better process capability. But the most important point is that, especially when in the FY18, I don't know if you all are aware, 150 API plants in China shut down, leading to price surge and supply chain issues. And that time, the entire industry shook up because everybody looked at a China plus one, and continuity of supply became a very important criteria. And hence, this has opened up a window for entrepreneurs in lesser regulated markets for second filing specifically. But I think for entrepreneurs, they need to keep these 2-3 criteria in mind.
Very well said, Amit. Very well said. I completely endorse you, because we predominantly operate 50% of our business in lesser developed countries or semi. And I think what you said is.
Sir, can I take 30 seconds?
Yeah, Mr. Bhaskar.
Yeah. So my just now Amit said that pricing is a very important component. What we were discussing about developing know-how or how best we can manufacture these products effectively, and working with the ICT and NCL Pune and all these government institutions. Already industry is closely working with them since last 3-4 decades. My point is that having a technology and developing all these APIs, whatever it may be mentioned in this PLI, the pricing mechanism ultimately is going to be the deciding factor. So without addressing this, so some sort of a price protection, if 5 people are manufacturing a product, then again if 10 more players are coming, and again our own manufacturers will reduce the price, and this will be an opportunity for the countries like China to reduce the prices. Without addressing what are the products, what we are talking is not a big technology. Earlier we used to manufacture, we left this to China, like chemical industry, Italy and Europe has left it to China. So we can able to manufacture these products in a more efficient way, but at the end of the day, the market dynamics and pricing makes a lot of difference. Without visualizing what is going to be the pricing in the days to come, and we have to assess, as Godaji has rightly mentioned, that Bangladesh is going to be a very big competitor because of their LDC status. So China, but the other day our friends are telling that one-way MEIS we are going to discontinue from December of this year. So Chinese have started giving more incentives to their companies. These are all factors we have to keep it into consideration. At the same time, there is no point in 100% depending on China, depending on Indian government policies and incentives. The industry also telling that, we are more concerned about regulatory restrictions and regulatory issues rather than financial support. So what I feel, all these strategies in Indian pharmaceutical industry is self-driven and they had their own strategies. So we have to work it in that direction. And as far as pricing is concerned, we have to the Sudarshan ji is there from IPA and IDMA and PharmExcel and all these organizations, Dinesh Duaji, we should take it to the government. best we can address the issue of pricing mechanism. Thank you.
No, this issue has already been referred to DOP, Renwa ji, and also with Piyush Goyal ji. We're going to have a meeting on the 13th at 7:30 in the evening, and I've put that as an issue to be discussed. So the answer that we've received from them is that WTO compliant, up to 40% customs can be played around with. That means if China is exporting at, right, you can go up to 40% duty on that, point number one. And WTO cannot do a fig about it. Number two, anti-dumping duty. I have filed a case recently, which is a renewal of the case on ceftriaxone. I've been promised by no less than Piyush Goyal ji, stating that within 1 month, we'll give you intermediate duty. That means for the time being, for a couple of months. And within 6 months, ADD will come in. And then you have safeguard as well as subsidy. So the government cannot give it to you in writing, understand